Jay Bruce digging in to start tonight. High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the wall. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions.
Oh, man.
Yes, here we are the day after. No, it wasn't New Year's Eve. It just felt like New Year's Eve. We welcome you back to Great American Ballpark, Game 2 of this series between the Astros and the National League Central Division champions of 2010, the Cincinnati Reds. Boy, that has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball. And well, Cowboy, how you feeling today? It was a fun night.
Well, I'm feeling great,
Good.
and I hope that everyone else is feeling good too. It's nice to have it over with. It's nice to clinch, and I think probably as much as anything, especially for the fans here in Cincinnati and for the players, it's awfully fun to clinch in your own place with your own bat and winning a ball game. That's what it's all about.
Everybody's still all smiles down there today, and now the Reds will give a few regulars a day off. In fact, their entire starting lineup on a day-in and day-out basis is not in the lineup tonight, so we'll see a lot of the youngsters tonight. But the Reds are zeroing in now on a number 2 seed in the playoffs. And a man trying to get them the win the morning after, the day after, the night after is Johnny Cueto.
accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Tonight's telecast of Reds baseball and every night on Fox Sports Ohio is presented in beautiful high definition, courtesy of our good friends from H.H. Gregg. A picture-perfect weather night, at least right now. What about the rest of the evening? Here's our buddy Tim Hedrick.
Jay Bruce hit that home run last night, and I went looking for Old Faithful. Oh, there's that glove I used to play center field with. More great plays from Stubbs tonight. 71st pitch by 9 o'clock, 66, down to about 63. Going to be a great night down at the old ball yard. How about a little Louis Tiant to get you out of here? Woo! Woo!
Pretty good stuff right there. Pretty good stuff from this guy. Not only last night, but the way he started to swing the bat against left-handed pitching, Cowboy.
Everything in the big leagues, Tom, is learning and improving as time goes on. It's tough to get to the big leagues. It's even tougher to stay. Look at the numbers, 198, 248 in the first half of this year. But the big number is this one right here at the bottom. 286 here in the second half of the season, and that is all against left-handed pitching. When Jay Bruce comes in, Joey Votto comes in, you can book it and bet your bottom dollar they're going to face a lefty. And these guys are coming on like gangbusters, especially that guy last night.
I can watch that thing 1,000 times, and it never gets old. That celebration. What a night. By State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks 33 straight years. By Just for Men, for mustache and beard, keep your edge. And by Skyline Chili. Whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. I can promise you there was some Skyline getting devoured about the wee hours of the morning by a number of folks that were hanging around the ballpark last night.
2:30.
Take a look at the Cincinnati Bell starting lineup for the Astros. Bourgeois in center, Kevinger at second, Hunter Pence in right, Carlos Lee the cleanup hitter in left, Chris Johnson again at third with Brett Wallace at first. Angel Sanchez at shortstop, Jason Castro behind the plate for Nelson Figueroa. And on the mound for the Reds, looking for win number 13 is right-hander Johnny Cueto, coming off the worst start of this 2010 season, his last outing against Milwaukee.
And I think really for Johnny today, as well as the guys that are on the field, they've got a little something to prove, especially the guy that's on the mound. After the way that things happened in his last time out, he's ready to get after it, I believe.
Ball one down low to Bourgeois, and this game is underway. One and one to Bourgeois, playing in his 65th game since being brought up from the minor leagues. A .225 hitter with 3 runs batted in. He runs very well. And it's in the air, short center. A diving attempt and a nice play out there by Chris Isaac. Now take a look at some of the names in the Reds lineup tonight. They haven't been regulars on this club this year, but there might be a lot of them in years to come. Lance Nixon left, Heisey in center, Willie Bloomquist in right, especially here in the infield. Francisco at third, Alonso at first, Boleca and Giannis up the middle, and Corky Miller hanging the signs for Johnny Cueto.
And you know Johnny Cueto really wants to, in all intents and purposes, he'd like to come out and pitch the whole ball game. 1 1/3 in his last time out with 8 earned runs, 8 hits. Walked more than he struck out. I mean, that is just totally not Johnny Cueto.
A ball and a strike on the second baseman, and former Red Jeff Keppinger having a real nice year, getting a chance to play every day, really for the first time in his major league career. And you see the numbers, very good. .291, 58 runs batted in. Has 33 doubles and maybe a 34th. That one hooked down the line. It will be a 2-base hit for Keppinger.
There are a lot of people in this Astro organization, Tom, and some guys down in the dugout that would just flat out tell you Keppinger, even though he's a 2-hole hitter, may be the most valuable player on this ball club by keeping this club together when they were just about ready to fall apart.
Well, he played very well when he got the chance here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, he did.
And then he got hurt. You may remember he fouled that ball off his knee. He was off to a phenomenal start a couple of years ago. And then missed, what, about 6-8 weeks? Longer than that.
It's a funny game how injuries taking you out of the everyday lineup. There's always somebody there to take your spot. And if you're not able to continue in the way that you were, somebody else will fill in.
Dribble foul by Hunter Pence. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And at that point, you got to reprove yourself. He's done that in a new organization. He's found himself a new spot. He's playing second base every day, and he's hitting the ball with some authority.
Pence, another guy having a good year. In fact, the best of his major league career. 91 runs batted in, has 25 home runs.
I think he's just at the cusp of his greatness.
Yeah, his issues for his first couple of years in the big leagues was just staying healthy. You may remember he had that freak accident during spring training a couple of years ago where he thought the sliding glass door going out to the back porch was open. It wasn't open, and he went right through it.
And you think it's funny, but it's not, because it was so severe. It just took him out of action almost for the whole year.
And I don't know if there's a player in the major leagues. I know there's not a number 3 hole hitter in the major leagues that chokes up on the bat the way Pence does. And for all you little leaguers out there, and well, Lord knows I try to tell my son all the time, choke up, choke up, choke up. You watch this guy hit, you'll realize it's okay to choke up. Barry Bonds used to choke up.
And it's all about being comfortable with the bat when you come to the plate. And when you watch Hunter Pence as he gets set, you can see how much he's choked up on the bat. Look how much that is there. That is a whole lot. And you would think to yourself, well, if I choke up that much, how am I going to cover the outside part of the plate? Well, for Hunter Pence, what he does is he uses a little bit bigger bat, not much. It's only a 1/4 inch bigger than what he would normally use. He chokes up that much, so when he does make contact, it is on the great part of the bat.
Well, I got a piece of probably Pence's finger, maybe pinched him down at the bottom of the hand with all that area choking up on the bat, and it's foul ball.
See that fastball by Cueto just running up and in, and it caught right on the end of the bat.
Breaking ball swung on and missed, and that's a strikeout for the second out of the inning. Keppinger at second, 2 away for Carlos Lee. So interesting to think about what the Reds postseason starting rotation is going to look like. Who's in, who's out. The 4 guys that are in, it's pretty much a slam dunk, you would assume. And you probably shouldn't assume anything. But when you look at the seasons that Arroyo and Cueto put together, Volquez and Travis Wood, they have been the 4 best starters, at least down the stretch here. There's been a bad game here, bad game there. Cueto and Arroyo have been there for you all year long. Wood has been there for you ever since he was called up. And Volquez lately has been very good. There's a fly ball to short right, and it'll fall in a hit in front of Willie Bloomquist, and that'll be an RBI double by Lee to make it a 1-0 game. Wasn't hit very hard, but it drops in there for a 2-base hit.
Looked as though he hit this ball right off the end of the bat. A breaking ball by Cueto, and it just starts to break at the last moment, and that's exactly what happened. Lee hit it right off the end of the bat, and Bloomquist trying to make a great play, but the runner scoring whether he dives or not.
1 in, 1 on, 2 out, and here's Chris Johnson, a third baseman. Boys, he played well since coming up. But getting back to the rotation thing for a minute, not only who's in and who's out, but in what order they will pitch, and so much has to do with who you're playing in the opening round. And boy, the scenarios are still nearly countless as to who the Reds might play and where they might play them in game 1. We know Atlanta is leading in the wild card race, 2 games with 5 to go over San Diego, and the Padres are 2 behind the Giants in the West. The ground ball to Giannis will end the inning, a scoring inning for Houston, 1-0 with the Reds coming back. Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. We welcome you and hope you're having a great day, and God bless you all. We appreciate your service to this great country. The team shop was open all night long. In fact, I walked in there at midnight last night and bought up hats and T-shirts for the family. And this morning when the kids woke up, they wanted to know immediately, did the Reds win? My wife taped the game and all the post game. So we went downstairs. We watched Aroldis Chapman in the top of the ninth. We watched Jay Bruce in the bottom of the ninth. And when they started throwing out T-shirts on the field, Daddy started throwing out T-shirts in the den.
That's what I'm talking about.
It was a fun morning.
Christmas in September. Nothing like it.
Willie Bloomquist to lead it off. He'll be followed by Chris Valeka, and then Mr. Alfonso. There's a pop-up. Right side of the infield, and that's an easy play for Brett Wallace. Here's a Red starting lineup presented by Cincinnati Bell. We told you, changes everywhere. Valeka at second, Yonder Alonso at first. Cleanup hitters Juan Francisco with Heisey in center and Lance Nixon left. A ladder third and Paul Giannis, Corky Miller, and Johnny Cueto. Nelson Figueroa's had a nice run at it since coming over to the Houston Astros.
He has. The only problem is last time out against the Reds, he didn't get past the fifth inning. He got into the fifth, and then things kind of fell apart for him. He's one of those guys that can go out and pitch 3, 4, maybe 5 innings of pretty good baseball, and then he runs out of gas.
0-1 to Valeka, and it's fouled out of play, 0-2.
You know, Tom, you look at this lineup that the Reds are running out there today, and you think to yourself, well, I thought the Reds were trying to get into second place. I thought they were still trying. Let me tell you something. These guys that are in the lineup today, I guarantee you they will be laying blood on the line trying to win this game today.
In the air down the right field line, and that ball is just out of the reach of Hunter Pence. Take a look at Houston on defense, presented by Ford. It'll be Bourgeois in center, flanked by Lee and Hunter Pence. Same infield as last night. Johnson and Sanchez, Keppinger and Wallace. And again, Jason Castro behind the plate for Figueroa.
Figueroa will have no easy task facing this lineup, because all of these guys are not only playing for a spot for next year or for the playoff roster now, they're playing for an opportunity to stay in the big leagues. They've got a chance here in September. They want to make the most of it. Heck, how many times have any of these guys got a chance to start a ball game? It hasn't happened.
Oh, you look at the lineup tonight. I mean, Heisey's had playing time throughout the course of the year. Not a ton, but some. Oh, Nix every now and again, not a lot of it early. Paul Giannis played when Cabrera was out, and Corky Miller when first Ryan Hannigan went on the DL, and then no sooner did he come back off, Ramon Hernandez went on the disabled list. But I mean, you're talking no more than a couple of handfuls of starts max for anybody in that lineup tonight. I would imagine Giannis and Nix probably running neck and neck for the most.
And all of these are potential bench players for the postseason. You look at Valeka, Alonso, Francisco, Heisey, Nix, Giannis. All of those guys, they've got a legitimate chance. How much that chance is, we don't know.
Hanging breaking ball line to the left, and Lee got a good jump on it. Makes a sliding grab. 2 away. Well, what a crowd, what an atmosphere we had here last night. Obviously a much smaller crowd tonight. Had over 30,000 here, and man, they were into it.
That was electric.
Really was.
Especially the later it got and the tighter that game.
Yonder Alonso, 4 hits in 20 major league at bats with a double and a couple of runs batted in. Number 1 pick 3 years ago out of the University of Miami of Florida.
You wonder what's going through the kid's head. What are they thinking of today? What are they trying to prove?
Fooled him with an off-speed pitch and gone swinging Alonso. A 1-2-3 first for the Houston right-hander, and the Astros lead it 1-0. Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-OHIO. Well, the playoffs began today. The Reds would open in Philadelphia a week from tonight. And the Giants would host the Atlanta Braves. First pitch swinging to begin the second inning, Brett Wallace, and that's easy to the first baseman, Alonso. The team with the best record in the National League, and that's already determined, it is Philadelphia. They had a choice as to whether they wanted to play Wednesday, Friday, games 1 and 2, day off between games 1 and 2, with another day off after game 2, or play Thursday, Friday. And the Phillies have decided Wednesday, Friday sounds like a good plan, which means in a game 4 scenario, their #1 starter, Roy Halladay, would be working on 4 full days of rest. One of the reasons we talked about yesterday, that 4-man alternates between each league. And the Yankees, who had the best record last year, elected to go down the same route. And because they had those off days in the first round and they made quick work of everybody else through the LCS, they only used 3 starters during the entire postseason last year. And of course, that's what the Phillies are thinking when you've got Halladay, Cole Hamels, and Roy Oswalt.
Well, you know, that's exactly what they're thinking. That's one of the reasons that we have talked ad nauseum about the Reds trying to get to the point where they have a better record than those in the West.
That'll be an infield hit for Sanchez. Well, if you happen to miss the post-game celebration last night, don't feel left out. If you go to FoxSportsOhio.com, you can see all the interviews, great celebration in the clubhouse, relive the magic of the Reds clinching their first playoff berth in 15 years. That's at FoxSportsOhio.com.
That's guys smoking cigars that have never smoked a cigar in their life.
Brandon Phillips made the comment not one time in his entire life until last night.
As alcohol touched his lips.
Of alcohol touched his lips. And he said it won't ever again until there's another celebration. There might be one of those in about a week and a half.
It's all right.
Let's just hope that he has 3 of them left in him this year. Right?
I was going to say this year.
This year.
So he's going to have some more left in.
Oh, and one to Castro. And a broken bat. Alonso will go to second. The return throw, and that takes care of things in the second inning.
Nice.
Let me hear it.
Woo, that's good. That's nice.
Yeah. Tonight's game, James Myers from Amelia, Ohio will win the beautiful new Tundra on display every night at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win. You have 4 more home games left. Just stop by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers.
How'd you like to be San Diego right now? You lead the division all year long, and it looks like as though the lead will be snatched from their jaws.
Although they do play the team in front of them 3 games the final weekend. They'll go toe-to-toe, the Padres and the Giants, beginning Friday night. And, of course, they're also watching what's going on in that wild card, and they know in the top of the 9th inning in Atlanta, the Braves have a 5-1 lead over the Marlins.
And you wonder what will happen, Tom, when the Phillies play the Braves those last 3 days of the season. Will they rest some of their guys? Will they play them? You know, how do you go about that? If they're going to play Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, have Thursday off and play Friday.
Into left field, a line drive, and Lee's got it off the bat of Juan Francisco. 1 out. They'll play Wednesday, Friday. The Phillies will of next week.
So they would start on Wednesday,
be off Thursday, and then play game 2 on Friday.
I got you.
Anyway, here's that wild card we were talking about. San Diego, a game and a half back going into play tonight. But again, the Marlins are batting in the top of the 9th inning with a runner at first and 2 men out, and now it's a final. Atlanta has beaten Florida 5-1.
And really what Atlanta is trying to do is be ahead of San Diego by 4 games before they get to Philly.
That one will finally drop in front of Carlos Lee. A 1-out single by Chris Heisey. First hit for the Reds tonight against Figueroa.
Like a breaking ball that he caught off the end of the bat. They were going away, and that pitch was definitely out of the strike zone, but the reach of Heisey was awfully good right there. This is a big at bat to watch right here, folks.
Well, this is a guy we talked a little bit about it last night. When Jim Edmonds went down after hitting that home run in Milwaukee on the last road trip, you wondered if he would return for the rest of the year, and it's starting to look like he will not. Lance Nix has been really bothered by a bad ankle that he hurt a couple of weeks ago. It's gotten better, but still not at 100%.
And it's his back ankle. It's the ankle he's got to push on, and he's also got to pronate up to where he's on the toe of that foot to push off to go to first base.
And you might be saying, well, big deal. I mean, we're not talking about a couple of guys that could be in your starting lineup. Well, that's not necessarily true. You could run either one of them out there in a starting lineup against a right-handed pitcher and take your chances. But furthermore, perhaps more appropriately as to where their role would be on a postseason roster would be great left-handed bats coming off your bench. There goes a runner. And a throw not nearly in time, and Heisey has his first stolen base. And without Edmonds, theoretically, and without Lance Nix at 100%, you'd be looking at a pair of rookie left-handed bats off the bench going into the playoffs in Yonder Alonso and Juan Francisco. At strike 3 called to Nix. He didn't like it. But Scott Berry, the home plate umpire, rings him up 2 away in the inning.
And I don't think that performance tonight for Lance Nix is as much as the importance based on him seeing pitches, recognizing pitches, and seeing as many pitches as he can. He has not been at the plate in a while.
While Giannis Shabatter looks at ball one. Well, what a nice job this young man did filling in for the injured Orlando Cabrera day in and day out for nearly a month. Giannis at 267, 24 runs batted in, and he had some big base hits.
Great all the way around. His defensive skills have not diminished in any way whatsoever. He covers as much ground as any shortstop in the National League. And he has hit the ball way better this year than I think he ever has in the big leagues at any point in time.
And really, we saw evidence of that beginning in spring training. I mean, he hit the ball with more authority, drove the ball more to the opposite field than any time we've seen in the last year and a half.
And the funny thing about it, Tom, is not only did he do it in spring training, but he continued to do it after sitting on the bench for Lord knows how long, and he finally got a chance to play, and he continued to drive the ball.
Well, he draws a walk. So the Reds have 2-1, trailing 1-0 here in the second inning, and Corky Miller coming up. Here's another guy. I mean, barely over a 200-plus hitter in his short stints in the big leagues over the last 5, 6, 7 years. But for the Reds this season, he's a 250 batter. Got a lot of playing time, as we mentioned, when Hannigan was out, and then when Hernandez was out.
Not only a 250 batter, but he's awfully good catching young pitchers. Or a veteran pitcher who's having a difficult time finding himself, or maybe in a rut for the time being. This guy knows how to call a game, and he knows how to get the best out of what your physical skills are at that given time. Just one of those kinds of catchers that not only recognizes the weakness of the hitter, but he also recognizes your strengths as a pitcher to use those and not let you get out of what you do best.
0-2 on Corky Miller with Heisey and Giannis aboard. 2 outs in the inning. And it's fouled out of play, and the bat comes flying out of his hands all the way back to the screen. You know, you talk about how good Miller has been with his pitching staff. In the 18 games that he has started, the pitcher's ERA is by far, not by a little bit, by far the best among all 3 of the catchers the Reds have put behind the plate in starts this year. The pitching staff's ERA when Corky Miller is in the game is 2.93. Now, I don't know how much of that is directly attributed to him. I mean, you get pitchers that get on a nice run. You know, the Reds went through that stretch of 2 months where they had the second lowest ERA in baseball behind the White Sox. But your point is well made.
It's one of those questions that you walk down into the clubhouse, you pull the pitcher aside where nobody else is listening, and nobody else is going to find out what his answer is, and he's going to say Corky Miller. You can book it.
Into shallow left field, and Lee is there, and that'll end the inning. The Reds strand 2 at the end of 2. 1-0 Houston.
when the Reds are winning, the whole town feels like it's winning. And, you know, it's been a long time. And what do they say? A long time between drinks of coffee, cups of coffee, whatever. And tonight, I think the whole town's smiling.
Bob Castellini after the ball game last night, boy, he was so emotional and so excited about what had happened. You go back to January of 2006 when he bought this team, and he said, we will win again and we will win soon. Said after the game last night it took a little longer than he had hoped, but the Reds crowned as Central Division champions last night and now are gearing up for the great unknown. I've always called it the great unknown. You can have teams that are heavily favored going into a playoff. You can talk about the best of 5. You can talk about the best of 7. And naturally, a body of work through 162 games will warrant saying one team is certainly favored over another. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no denying that. The Philadelphia Phillies are the team to beat in the National League on paper, based on the overall body of work. Does that mean the Philadelphia Phillies are going to the World Series? Of course not.
It all is up for grabs when the game starts.
Alonso will feed Cueto at the bag. Back-to-back broken bats from Figueroa and Bourgeois. And quickly 2 away here in the Houston third. Astros with a 1-0 lead. I mean, you never know. You know, you go back to the game, the series when Philadelphia was here. Great series. Team split the first 2 games. Very exciting. Then you went to the rubber game of the series with Roy Halladay on the mound. And everybody had said, well, if the Reds want to win the series, they better win the first 2 games because they're not going to beat Halladay. Well, they were down a run in the bottom of the 8th inning. And guess who hit a 2-run home run? Jay Bruce, to beat Halladay by a run.
You just never, those are the kinds of things, Tom, that you never know. You can measure talent by the success rate that they've had over the 162 games, but you can't measure heart and you can't measure intestinal fortitude.
Malega cuts it off behind the bag and throws out Keppinger in a 1-2-3 inning for Johnny Cueto. Doubleheader beginning with Detroit and Green Bay to take on the Packers. Others will see the Panthers and the Saints. And then the afternoon tilt, the Redskins and the Eagles in Philadelphia. Coverage begins Sunday at noon Eastern with the Ford Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. Of course, the Bengalis will be on the road on Sunday. They'll be up in Cleveland, Ohio. to take on the Brownies.
Is that what they call them now, the Cleveland Brownies? I thought that was like a girl for.
I know one thing. That's a game the Bengals should go up there and win. It's a good rivalry. It's a divisional game. You never know what might happen, but they should get a win up there. Although the Brownies will get it turned around sooner or later with Mike Holmgren running the show.
It's the second time
can take that to the bank.
You've said Brownies twice now.
Cleveland fans call them the Brownies.
Oh, they do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't know much about that stuff.
2-2 the count. You're a big Saints fan, aren't you?
I like the Saints.
I mean, you're a bandwagon guy, so you jump on. You like the Cowboys? Who you like?
I'm not a bandwagon guy. I like Atlanta. I like the Falcons. I like the Dolphins. I like the Cowboys. And I like the Saints.
Yeah, but who's your team? I mean, you got to pick one of them. You can't say I like 5 teams. If they all played in the round robin, who are you rooting for?
Alabama.
Swinging a foul tip by Cueto, and he's out of there on strike. Alabama taking on the Gators this weekend. We chat with Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy during our game tonight, talking about the Bengals, their insider, standing by to bring you up to date on what's going on exclusively on FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com. Does Alabama go down there to the Swamp and get a win this weekend over the Gators, yay or nay?
Yes.
Willie Bloomquist popped up to the first baseman, his first time up.
But it will be a big one.
Oh, yeah.
As they say down there, you'd be walking in high cotton.
Do they say that in Mississippi more frequently than Alabama? Or more so in Florida or Louisiana, Georgia, all those SEC school states, a few of them anyway?
I think they say it in all of them.
The whole region.
Yeah. High cotton.
And there's a 4-pitch walk to Willie Bloomquist. Reds down a run, and Bloomquist aboard. That'll bring up Valleca, who lined out to the left fielder Carlos Lee, his only time up.
Well, this is the second time through for the Reds lineup, and a lot of these youngsters have not faced Figueroa, so you would hope to see them make some semblance of positive judgment this go round.
Valleca just turned 25 years old, selected in the 3rd round of the 2006 draft by the Reds.
This dude can hit now. I mean, that was his big issue coming into this organization, was the fact that he could hit the baseball.
That ball driven into right center field, but Pence will track it down for out number 2.
His first time up, they pitch him in and he jerks it into left field for a line drive. This ball here is middle away, and it's actually cutting away from him a little bit. Look where he gets that elbow right inside the baseball, right up against the rib cage, and drives the ball with extension the other way. That is how you teach people to hit. Hard to do, easy to say, but especially hard to do when it's live. That's a good pitch.
I think that'll be scored a wild pitch.
How do you do that? That never happened to me. Do you just grab the ball like with one finger and sling it up there halfway up the backstop?
Your old battery mate used to call that the Zoom ball. Bob Brenly.
Brenly? Yeah. When I was a rookie, he was very much a veteran. If I had done
He's
that,
still a veteran.
If I had done that in a game and he'd have had to go back there and get the ball, he would have called timeout and came out to the mound and lit me up like no tomorrow. My knees would have been shaken, not from the batter, but from him.
Going on and fouled out of play, 2-1. You know, that was the one thing being around the Reds Hall of Fame induction this year that I had never seen the side of Johnny Bench. You know, when I first started broadcasting Reds games back in 1988, Johnny and I were partners up in the booth.
Right.
And everywhere he goes, and especially back then, but even now, I mean, he's Johnny Bench, this larger-than-life figure, one of the great players in the history of the game. Not just in the history of the Reds, but in the history of the game. But when he gets around the old pitchers that he worked with for better than 2 decades, and to see the way they just revere him.
They respect him
so much. Here's a broken bat rolled to short by Alonso, and the inning is over. So the Reds leave a man in scoring position and still trail at the end of 3, 1-0. Toyota dealers, where you can register to win the Tundra at Great American Ballpark by JTM Food Group, proudly serving the finest food service operations in the industry, restaurants, schools, and the military. JTM Food Group. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by GMC, we are professional grade. How's that look out there, Cowboy?
I think it looks pretty doggone good. I like one on each side of that Tundra sign. National League Central Division champions. I like that little C right down in here where it has the little C thing.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
That's nice.
If we just put National League Division champions, just drop the Central right after we drop our first round opponent. Go like this.
Let's go back to that sign after this pop-up is caught off the bat of Hunter Pence by Chris Valaika. One away. Let's go back to that. Now, you had an idea about what to do. Let's start with
what I was
Central,
thinking,
right?
What I was thinking is that you could just get rid of that part right there.
Yeah.
And then it just say National League champion.
Okay, and now we get rid of the NL. Okay, go ahead and scratch that out.
That.
And then what do you write above that? Very nice.
How do you like me now?
That's very nice.
That's the way I like it. If you're going to do it all the way. Don't do it halfway. because as many people told me my first go around, you may not have a chance to go back, so you might as well go on and do it full bore. Get to the World Series and you might lose. You don't want to do that. You want to go on in there and win it the first time.
Two and one to Carlos Lee. And that one will skip into center field. A base hit, second hit of the game for Lee, who knocked in the game's only run with a double off the end of the bat into short right field in the first inning. All right, Cowboy, here's a good question tonight. Our AT&T trivia question. How many players have hit a walk-off home run to clinch a playoff spot for their team? So this rules out now, say, Joe Carter's home run to win the World Series. This is to clinch a playoff spot for their team, like we saw one of the names on that list, obviously,
will be Jay Bruce.
Jay Bruce.
That would be my first guess.
But how many guys have done it?
Did Aaron Boone's did that what?
That was in the American League Championship Series.
So that didn't count.
No.
Probably some old dudes.
Well, I remember another guy because I was there when he did it.
Really?
Yes.
Was he in the National League?
Yes. In the National League West. And I'll give you a hint. He played up until last year. He's about 42 years old. And he still had the body of about a 22-year-old. Played center field for a long, long time. Had a great career. Great career. This coming Sunday, presented by Walgreens. We'll have drawings for fan prizes throughout the game. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. Should be a fun day. Have afternoon games on both Saturday and Sunday. Final three games of the year against the Milwaukee Brewers. Juan Francisco to lead things off. Reds down 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning. Heise to follow, and then Lance Dixon. By the way, I owe you an apology. The Alabama-Florida game is in Tuscaloosa. So I now you believe without any doubt at all that your Crimson Tide will come away winners.
Alabama will win that game.
Jam shot, roller down to first. One away. Coming up at the top of the fifth inning, we'll hear from Dusty Baker. He'll be joining us from down in the dugout. 0-1 to Chris Heisey. Hopper to short, and coming in to try and get him before third bounces Sanchez, which is the only chance he had of throwing out Heisey. He was unable to get there. That'll be an infield hit.
Well, that's why you hustle all the way out of the box as Heisey did, even though that may be a routine play normally for Sanchez. Not on this go round. He knows he's got to hustle because Heisey's coming out of the box full blast. That's how you run down the first baseline. You don't jog.
Right now, Lance Nix. He struck out looking his first time up and takes outside, ball 1.
This is where you'd really like to see Nick start to get his feeling back for the fastball. Breaking ball is always going to be a little bit crazy simply because you've had to sit out for a while. But if you can get your read back on the fastball, especially against a guy that changes speeds as much as Figueroa, it's going to help him a whole lot as the week progresses.
Pulled into right field, a base hit, very nice. And going first to third is Heisey. And Lance Nix with a base hit. That's nice to see.
Well, he took quite a few pitches his first time up. This time he gets a fastball in that he knows he can handle, and he just flat spins on it, pulls it right through the hole. Past the diving Brett Wallace. And of course, Chris Heisey goes from first to third. That's just become a thing that the Reds, well, they just do that.
There you see, via the single. Only the Texas Rangers have gone first to third with more frequency than the Reds this year. And now Giannis with a chance to tie the game. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Ball 1. Giannis walked in the second inning. Well, what a beautiful night it is here in downtown Cincinnati. Today was one of those days you'd like to just put in the bottle. Right around 80 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, 0 humidity, a perfect, glorious day. And same holds true tonight.
We've had some wonderful days as of late, both on the road and at home, to play the game of baseball. I mean, you couldn't ask for better days in San Diego. The days here at home have been just gorgeous.
Well, this will not bring in the run. Giannis pops it up, 2 away in the inning. Well, if you want to check out all the new stuff with NL Central champions on it, go to CincinnatiReds.com and browse the largest selection of official gear. Shop the Reds.com official store today.
Well, 2 out hits have been a big deal for the Reds this year. They've gotten a ton of RBIs via the 2 out category, and it'll be up to Corky Miller to make it happen right now.
Straight away center field by Corky, but this is playable out there for Bourgeois, and the Reds miss a chance. They strand 2. We'll hear from Dusty Baker in the top of the 5th. thing that stands out in your mind from last night more than anything else, what would it be?
Well, when that ball went off of Jay Bruce's bat, I think, and you know, he knew it, everybody in the stands knew it, and that just meant that, hey, man, that was the end of the long race for us to win the division.
Dusty, it's the third time that you have taken a club now to the postseason. Does it get any better than this, my friend?
Well, you know, each time is sweeter. Each time is different. And, you know, quite frankly, you don't think about the third time. You just think about, hey, you know, how far are we going to go, you know, at the end of this next month? Are we going to be the world champions? And I tell you, last night was as big a moment. I don't think I've ever seen a pennant won on a walk-off home run like that. And, you know, I gave Jay Bruce the lineup cards, and I'm sure that's something that he'll never forget. And I don't even think his feet hit the ground when he's running around the bases because, man, he was floating, we were floating, the fans were into it, and that was as big a moment that I've seen in baseball in a long time.
Dusty, thanks for the time, and again, congratulations.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dusty.
All right, later.
We thank Dusty Baker for his time in between innings. Well, he certainly very much enjoyed himself last night, and deservedly so. And here it was. If you didn't see it, as soon as it left the bat, as Dusty said, everybody knew it. And the celebration was on. Normally we see Scott Rowland sprinting around those bases when he hits a home run. Joey Votto does the same. Bruce said that was without a doubt the fastest he's ever run the bases after a home run.
That is called adrenaline, my friend.
Brett Wallace leading things off here in the top of the fifth inning. Johnny Cueto has allowed a run on 4 hits. The only Houston run came in the first inning, a 1-out double by Jeff Keppinger, and he scored off a bloop double down the right field line from Carlos Lee, and that's strikeout number 2 tonight for Johnny Cueto. Our Coors Cold Hard Blast. What else would it be? You know, it's always so. It's just a beautiful part of life. Of when you have little kids describe what they see. They love that scrum on a celebration. Kids love the game-ending hit when you have the big scrum waiting for the player at the plate.
And the dog pile.
Yeah, and when you was sitting there this morning and watching it with our little boy and the things that they pick up on and their eyes are drawn to right away. All he could talk about was Johnny going, so what's Johnny?
He's diving in there. You know, there is a huge picture or a huge statue out in the front of Rosenblatt Stadium of the College World Series, and that's what that is about, the dog pile. And I don't care if you're 16, 17 years old, or if you're 40 years old. The dog pile means championship.
See, now watch Johnny go. Now he's going to be to the far right. Look at it. He breaks out and comes back and the leap. Very nice. Very nice.
Well, nobody got hurt. That's the best part. How many times have we had this year where guys have gotten hurt on the celebrations at home plate? I mean, I've just never thought of that before, and then here this year it's happened 3 or 4 times.
There's a 1-out single in the center field by Sanchez by Cowboy. Time to answer our AT&T trivia question. How many players have hit a walk-off home run, game-ending home run, to clinch a playoff spot for their team?
I'm going to say 5.
You got it, big fella. Why would you have guessed that? Here they are. Jay Bruce with the Reds. Steve Finley did it with the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium in 04. That was the hint I was giving you. Soriano in 99 with the Yanks. Hank Aaron in 57. And, of course, Bobby Thompson
the shot
to beat the Dodgers.
Heard round the world.
Indeed.
Giants win the pennant. Giants win the pennant.
We're going to hear that great call here in just a moment. Here it is. Fly ball short left center field, and Nix will step in front of Heisey for out number 2. That was off Ralph Brunken. Of course, the two became friends for many, many, many years.
And you know, Tom, when I first came to the big leagues, that was I heard that all the time. And
you'd hear it probably every night at the ballpark with the Giants.
All the time. And for the longest time, I didn't have any idea what they were talking about. You know, I'm just an old cat from Mississippi. I didn't know what was going on. And I'm hearing this. I'm like, what is that?
And who did you ask that question?
Mike Krukow.
Oh, golly day. That's the wrong guy to ask.
Well, he was very good to me. He was good to me at the time. He wasn't going to embarrass me in front of the whole team like some of the others would have.
Well, if you'd asked Wayne Kuiper, you'd have been in major league trouble.
Well, he wasn't playing then, so it didn't matter. If I'd asked Don Robinson, that's when I would have gotten in trouble.
Or Brenly.
Yeah.
In the dirt, runner takes off. Corky's throw is in time. And that'll end the inning.
Well, he didn't even panic at all right there. Perfect throw. Of Scots. Head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Astros still on top of the Reds, 1-0. Reds coming to the plate looking for a chance to at least tie and possibly take the lead, with Cueto leading off and then back to the top of the order.
Well, even though the Reds are clearly not running out their A team in a game here tonight, it's up to this group that is in the game to try and get this win. Cueto is throwing the ball very, very well.
And this is normally the time that Figueroa really just runs out of gas.
Cueto trying to bunt his way on. You can't talk enough about the importance of having that number 2 seed. I mean, it's not the end of the world, obviously. You're still going to the playoffs. But, man, to have that opening round begin in Cincinnati, as opposed to going to Philadelphia or going to San Francisco or going to San Diego. It's very important. And after every playoff game, Fox Sports Ohio has announced post-game and postseason coverage. Jim Day, Jeff LaCoro, Chris Welsh will give you all the highlights and reaction from the players and the managers after every Reds playoff game. Turn to the team that has been there from the very beginning, the home of the Reds, right here, Fox Sports Ohio. That'll be live after every playoff game to break it all down for you. Jeff LaCoro will be live from wherever it is the Reds are playing, whether it be at Great American Ballpark or on the road. And Jim Day and Chris Welsh will be in the studio to break it all down. Should be great stuff. Really is. They've done all year long. Fouled out of play by Valleca, who is lined out to left and flied out to right center. Or Willie Bloomquist, I beg your pardon. Valleca waits in the on-deck circle. Bloomquist has popped up and drawn a walk. And now he has a base hit into left center field. For the tying run aboard for the Reds. They left 2 on in the second, 1 in the third, 2 more in the fourth. Right now, for some of the numbers that certainly have playoff implications as to who the Reds will play in the opening round and where they're going to play. Told you about Atlanta already winning, so they pick up another half game in the wild card on San Diego. It is a 2-game lead. San Diego will be at home against the Cubs. Game 3 of a 4-game series later. And the Giants, who lead San Diego by 2 full games in the NL West, will host Arizona.
So Reds fans are pulling for the Cubs and the Diamondbacks.
Indeed. Colorado has been officially eliminated. They had that great run to begin the second half and just ran out of steam. Well, after they swept the Reds 4 games in a row, you thought this team might do it again, but just wasn't meant to be.
They were on an unbelievable run, and a lot of that was led by Troy Tulowitzki. When you hit 14 home runs in 15 days, you got a team on your shoulders, and you're just carrying them. But as they got towards the middle of September, the guy that they really thought that was going to pick up the slack was Carlos Gonzalez, and he just could not do it.
And there's strike 3 called to Valleca, and they're 2 away in the inning.
Looks like a 2-seam fastball that appears to be outside and comes right back to the heart of the plate. Can't say that Valleca thought where that ball was going to be, but it did split the plate in half.
Runner goes, and a rocket off the glove of the first baseman. The pitcher is late getting over, but is able to recover in time to get Alonso, who hammered that ball, but allowed out. A hit a man left. Reds have stranded 6 and still trail 1-0.
Now for our Meyer text poll question, this is something we speculated about on the postgame show last night. There might be a few people calling in sick after the celebration, so we want to know, did you make it to work today? Text 1 for yes, 2 for no, but come on, man, if it's no, the Reds won the Central last night. What were you thinking? Perfect day to play hooky. Text your votes at 37664, 37664. Standard text message rates apply. We'll have the results coming up. None of us called into work sick today because, let's face it, what we do, not so much work. Tom Brenneman.
You're not lying about that, Jim Day.
Maybe not for you, Jim.
Come on, we're covering baseball for a living. This ain't work.
There's no doubt about that one. Figueroa looks at a fastball strike from Johnny Cueto. We begin the top of the 6th inning, a 1-0 game. Jim, you sound a little beat up today. Are you doing all right?
I'm all right.
Are you sure?
I look beat up every day, Tom.
No,
it's just a little more beat up today.
You sound a little more beat up.
No, it's from being hoarse down there.
Yeah.
That, wherever that place is that we went last night after the game.
Yes.
I've never been anywhere like that in my life.
Literally had to scream just to be able to barely hear yourself. So the voice a little shaky today. But we're all right.
Well, you sounded good.
We'll toughen her out.
Just want to make sure. That 45% of you saying no, you didn't.
I couldn't even hear myself talk. That's bad. Because I'm loud.
1-1 to Jason Bourgeois. Well, they were chanting cowboy, cowboy down there last night.
They were chanting all kind of stuff. I mean, anything that somebody started, they chanted.
Those folks were a lot of fun. You know, sometimes you get in a crowd like that some places and things get, way out of hand. But that was a fun group.
Not in Cincinnati and not after a ball game. They were everybody was very clean. Everybody had great signs and everybody was awfully excited.
Base hit in the right field by Bourgeois. He's a 1-out base runner, and you better watch him. He can run. 11 steals in 15 attempts for Jason Bourgeois.
And the thing about him, Tom, is you look at Michael Bourne, whose place he is taking for right now, who is normally the center fielder for the Astros. He's got as many steals as anybody in either league. And this guy right here, I mean, he didn't even have to get a big lead in steal. Of course, you never know. They may let Keppinger hit to the right side and have him running all in the same go.
Michael Bourne, who is out. Cowboy referred to a moment ago, the overwhelming leader in stolen bases in the National League with 52 of them this year. Where does he rank among all major leaguers? Second to Juan Pierre of the White Sox. Pierre was 63. 1-1 to Jeff Keppinger. Fastball is in. Keppinger 1 of 2. Doubled and scored the game's only run in the first inning. And then bounced out to Baleka, ending the third.
I learned something from Juan Pierre back when he played for the Florida Marlins. He would come out before the ball game and stand on top of the plate and roll the ball ever so softly right down the first base line and down the third base line to see if the ball would roll foul or stay fair as it rolled down the chalk line. Since he was such a good bunter, that's why he did those things, and they're going to call a balk on Johnny Cueto. Cueto's going to tell him that he stepped off the back of the rubber, and Dusty's going to, the only way they're going to figure this out is if the third or the first base umpire make the call. He did not step off.
Johnny's got to take a deep breath and settle down and zero in on Keppinger. Reds are already trailing 1-0, and it's 2 balls and a strike on the Houston second baseman. Good fastball there on the inside corner.
And the problem with the balk and the base hit from Bourgeois Tom, is the fact that not only are you facing a tough hitter in Keppinger, you've got Pence and Lease to stand right behind.
Lined and a diving play by Valleca from his knees. He throws out Keppinger. Normally it's Brandon Phillips making spectacular plays like this. But tonight it's Chris Valleca, and what a play by the youngster.
This is the one part of Chris Valleca's game that he has taken to heart. And you can ask any of the coaches in the International League how much better he has gotten from last year to this year. And I know that in one poll he was voted as the best hands at his position. And a lot of that has to do with taking ground balls, repetition, fielding balls in different spots, and also throwing the ball from different spots, because that play there was difficult.
I'd say that's putting it mildly.
All right, now Hunter Pence. Cueto works out of the regular windup with a runner at third and 2 men out. Fastball at 93 on the inside corner. Pence is struck out and popped up to Valleca in shallow right field. 1 run, 6 hits for Houston. No runs, 4 hits for the Reds. Although the Astros have only left 1 base runner on thus far tonight, the Reds have stranded 6, and all 6 have come in the last 4 innings.
Now this is the guy you want. Man standing on deck has already got 2 hits. A big, strong hitter in Lee. He's going to put the bat on the ball regardless of where it is. You've got to make Pence chase something out of the zone and put him in the book.
That's the best fastball of the night by Cueto, 96.
And this is the one thing about Hunter Pence. He will chase the ball up the ladder. And what we mean about the ladder is from the knees, belt, and then up the strike zone.
Reds still down a run as they come to bat in the bottom of the 6th. Freeze can. After contact, the home run from Jay Bruce, the celebration was on. National League Central Division champions. Pictures of a lifetime. The Coors Light Freeze Can, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Doesn't get any better than that, Tom.
No, it does not. Well, yeah, actually it does. It does get better than that.
Well, what I mean is celebrating a championship that is won by a group of men, that is as good as it gets. Now, the level of championship, yes, it does get better.
Because as you know, that celebration when you win the whole thing is a whole different animal.
Nothing like it. Because nobody can ever say that they're better than you.
Juan Francisco. Yeah, immediately Cordero literally came over to me and said, we got to get you. Said we got to do it. There's a base hit into right field by Juan Francisco, so a good way to get started in the 6th inning. You know, we want to send out our thoughts and prayers and certainly our very best to a great Reds fan, Mike Swosta, who lives in Hillsborough, Kentucky. Going to be undergoing some surgery here in the next couple of days. And Mike, we're thinking about you, praying for you. I know you watch every single Reds game. So we wish you all the best in surgery and a very speedy recovery. Breaking ball in there, a strike to Chris Heisey. Quickly 0-2.
All right, Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM help you with great tasting products for your menu. Inspired solutions, better results. JTM.
That make you a little hungry?
Dude, I was born.
0-2 to Heisey. Swing and a miss, and he's out of there on 3 pitches. 5 strikeouts in the game by Figueroa. Pitching a good game here tonight.
He really is. Breaking balls down, and every once in a while he'll climb the ladder. Now, this is no overpowering pitcher by any means. And what you do from Figueroa's standpoint is you're changing eye level. If the guy swings at it, well, that's all fine and good. And that's exactly what happened with Heisey. Put it in a place where it won't hurt you.
Lance Nix, 1 of 2, struck out looking in the 2nd inning, single to right in the 4th.
Well, let's don't forget that the Reds have Stubbs, Cabrera, Votto, Roland, Gomes, Phillips, Bruce, Hernandez on the bench, just in case. They need a one.
Runner goes, and a throw down by Castro is in time to get Francisco. I wonder if that might have been a missed sign somewhere.
Jason Castro has proven now on more than one occasion that he has the ability to throw the baseball on the money. And that was definitely a hit and run. Either Francisco missed it or Nix missed it because of the look in from the batter. If the batter looks in, it is a hit and run. If the batter looks directly at second base and continues on, it is not a hit and run. The only reason that you look in is in case it's a line drive or a pop-up and you turn around.
And that becomes a very big out as Nix follows with a 4th pitch walk. So rather than 1st and 2nd and 1 out, there's a runner at 1st with 2 away, and Paul Janisch coming up. 3rd walk tonight by the Houston right-hander. Figueroa, a guy who has spent many years in the minor leagues.
He was actually with the Phillies when I first got to the Phillies organization. Tom, that's back in 1999.
He's been around. Got a chance with Arizona. Gave the Mets some very important outings, both as a starter and in their bullpen. Ed Wade, then the general manager with the Phillies. Liked what he saw to Figueroa there as a spot starter, long reliever. And then when Wade became general manager in Houston, he gave Figueroa yet another chance. And since picking him back up this year, he's delivered on the goods.
Well, the one thing that Figueroa can do at just about any time in the count is he can throw any pitch at any time. When you can do that and you've got a fastball that approaches 90 as Figueroa's does, on a good night you can make a good team look awfully bad.
That pitch gets away from Castro, and now the Reds have that tying run in scoring position on the second wild pitch of the night delivered. Oh, and the Reds get it done with an RBI, and they're trying to do that right here and right now. That means another $25 from Shakely for the Reds Community Fund. Shakely. It's done. And Giannis trying to get it done right now. He had a chance with runners on the corners and one out in the fourth inning, and he popped up. Takes a breaking ball away. And the count is run full to Paul Giannis. Had a pitch to hit right there and fouled it straight back.
Well, Giannis can usually handle the fastball middle in and down, or really across the plate and down. The up fastball has a difficult time with it. It really just shows you the adjustments that he has made over the 3 years that he's been with the Reds. When he first came to the big leagues, the only pitch he could hit was a fastball middle in and pull it down the left field line. Now he can hit the fastball all the way across the board. He can hit the breaking ball as long as it's a strike.
Breaking ball there, and he was way out in front, but able to get a piece of it and roll it foul. So Giannis hanging in there. Now the catcher Castro coming out to check in with his pitcher.
And I think this is what Castro would like here, is to have a breaking ball thrown on the outside corner for a strike. The only problem for Figueroa is that if you try to be too close or too fine when you go away, you'll hold on to that ball a little bit too long and it'll drift off the plate and you end up with ball 4.
3-2 on Giannis, tying run at second base. And another foul ball on a fastball. This one off to the first base side. 9 pitches thus far in this at bat. Number 10 upcoming, and another visit by Castro to the mound.
You get catchers going to the mound, and then all of a sudden it seems like you got to go out there every time to make sure they know what they're supposed to do.
Into right center field, and Pitts nearly lost it in the lights. Well, you can't hit it much harder than that. Well, the Reds strand their 7th runner of the night and still trail 1-0. By your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Toyota Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com. And by Grainger. Over 900,000 products to help you get your job done. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. Along the banks of the Ohio, a look into Newport, Kentucky along the levee. And a 1-0 game as we're set to start the 7th inning here at Great American Ballpark. Reds on the short end. And the man who knocked in the game's only run will lead it off, Carlos Lee. Lined in the left, cut off by Nix. And Lee 3 for 3, an RBI double, a single, and now a second single.
There was a point in time this year, Tom, where Carlos Lee couldn't hit a ball if you set it up there on a tee. I mean, he really couldn't. He was either going to ground it out or just flat miss it. And when you miss it on a tee, you ain't real good. But right now, he is as hot as you could possibly get. The ball is hitting his bat right on the screws.
Carlos Lee had 5 RBIs at the end of the first month of the season. That's when the Reds went rolling in there the final days of April, when the leading RBI man on the team was Jeff Keppinger with a grand total of 8 runs batted in. Lee was batting in the 100s. Well, he's got 88 driven in on the year. That went off Cueto's leg, and a very sloppy feed that allows the runner to go first to third. Yonder Alonso had more than enough time to plant and make a nice flip to the covering Cueto to get the out at first base.
Well, it looked like it hit him in the side of the neck. He had plenty of time to do it. He threw it underneath his legs, and ball almost hit Johnny in the head, or maybe it did hit him in the head. I mean, the ball is off the foot of Cueto, and then he is smacked in the side of the head with a baseball. It's a double whammy.
That may have been the angle we saw there, that him flipping his head back there. I think more out of frustration than actually getting hit. They're taking a look at his leg, obviously, from taking a line drive.
Well, he's got to be frustrated. He's thrown the ball very well tonight, and he hasn't gotten any run support. And he knows, Tom, we discussed this coming into the ball game about postseason pitching, and there is not one starting pitcher down there that does not want to be considered one of the starters. I mean, everybody wants that. Homer Bailey wants it. Arroyo wants it. Heck, Aaron Harang would like to be one of those guys. But there's only going to be 2, 3, and if there's 4, it'll be a coin flip. I mean, it's just only so many that you can run out there and start.
That'll be an infield hit for Johnson. The error by Alonso allows Carlos Lee to go all the way to third, and now the infield is in for Brett Wallace. Beat him with a fastball to even a count of 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, the best case scenario for Johnny here is to get a strikeout of Wallace and then allow the runners to move back in the middle to play for the double play. Wallace is a strikeout candidate. He does strike out, and you can beat him with the fastball down and away, or you can backdoor that breaking ball and he'll swing over the top of it. I like it, that one.
Cueto ahead now 1-2. He fanned Wallace's last time up.
I said backdoor. I meant down and in, and that's where that pitch was.
Reds have action in their bullpen. Bill Bray, a left-hander, cranks it up out there. And he's joined by Jordan Smith. Came right back with that same pitch, and this time Wallace stays away from it.
A lot of promise when Brett Wallace came over here. A lot of promise.
Tapper, and they'll, wow. I mean, everything that could have gone wrong there. Well, not everything. They got one out. Two nothing game.
Valenka made a mistake by choosing the runner that was closest to him to pursue, when in effect the reason that you're playing in is to not allow the base runner from third to score. That's your first choice to look at. It doesn't matter if the runner from first is sprinting to second base. You have to check the runner that's coming home. He was over halfway. You throw the ball home in order to get the rundown started. You cut him off so that he doesn't score. Then you get the rundown started.
Angel Sanchez with one in, one on, one out, and a 2-0 Houston lead here in the 7th.
And you got to feel for Cueto, because he has thrown the ball awfully well. The only other RBI was by Carlos Lee on a ball that was hit right off the end of the bat, dumped right over the head of the first baseman Alonso for the RBI that scored Jeff Keppinger. Otherwise, we would be at a scoreless ball game before that run scored there.
Early hit on that fastball up into Sanchez, able to spin out of the way, and the count is even at 2-2.
It's only human nature when you're playing in and they say, okay, let's cut the runner down at the plate, and as soon as you catch the ball and you look up and there's a guy standing next to you, well, you start to chase him. Got to make yourself not do that. Good pitch there.
For a strikeout tonight by Johnny Cueto. There are 2 outs in the inning. And the number 8 hitter, Jason Castro, coming up.
Boy, this baby looked like a heat seeker right here. A 2-seam fastball. Watch this ball really tail up and in on Sanchez. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, look where he swings at that ball. I mean, that ball is a good 1.5 feet inside off the plate, as Corky Miller makes the catch. That's how much movement, late movement, Cueto had there. Now you got to get this guy if you're Johnny. You got to get out of the inning with only 2 runs and hope the Reds can put you some runs on the board, because this is Johnny's last inning. He's at 96 pitches. He's thrown the ball awfully well. Defense behind him has not been the greatest, but Tom, do you think that they would hit for Nelson Figueroa here with a shutout?
You brought up earlier, I mean, this guy's never been what you would say is a 7, 8, 9 inning pitcher at any point in his entire career.
Not at all. I don't think that he has a shutout to his career. If he does, it's a surprise to me.
Swinging a foul ball out of play. 2-2 on Castro. Broken ball liner to the first baseman will end the inning. So the Astros get a run, a couple of hits, a big error in the inning. 2-0 as they stand and stretch at Great American Ballpark. Tonight is scheduled to be Cueto's final start of the regular season. And, you know, you look at where he might slot in, anywhere from probably number 2 to number 4, conceivably, I guess.
Well, there's really no telling it when it comes down to matching up pitcher versus opponent. What we do know is that Arroyo most likely will be number 1. Wood is going to fit in there somewhere because of his ability, because he's a left-hander. And I think because of the way that Edinson Volquez has thrown, the fact that he is a bona fide ace, if you will, he's going to be in there. He was the big question mark from the beginning in my mind, simply because we didn't know if Volquez could come back and be the Edinson Volquez that we saw a year ago. And not only has he done that, he's been able to pitch 8+ innings. He came back after that 8-inning performance and pitched 6 innings in last night's game and threw the ball awfully well.
Yep.
So I think any question marks that surrounded Volquez are now gone. And the question marks are, if you're going to take Homer Bailey and Johnny Cueto, where do you put them?
Hot smash and a nice pickup to the glove side of Wallace. And Miller retired to begin the inning. Miguel Cairo will come up and bat now for Johnny.
Funny, Tom, we were talking about shutouts by Figueroa. Well, he does have a shutout, but it's not with the Astros. It's against the Astros. But it came in last year, and it came right about this time, October 4th. So maybe they'll let him ride the gamut. We shall see. His spot's coming up.
And he has thrown the ball quite well. He's gotten into some trouble. I mean, the Reds left 7 batters on in their last 5 innings. Their best scoring chance by far came in the 4th when they had runners on the corners and only 1 out. But Figueroa got Giannis to pop up to the catcher right in front of the plate and retired Corky Miller on a fly ball to center field.
And I don't believe that they'll give him a long leash. He may go out. If he does happen to go out for the 8th or the 9th and be in a situation where if anybody gets on, he's out of the ball game. Because you look at their back end of the bullpen with Lindstrom and with Brandon Lyon, they have been pretty much automatic fixtures in that spot.
Only 5 hits allowed tonight by Nelson Figueroa. 2-2 to Miguel Cairo. And this will be a 3rd hit that he has allowed. Perhaps. Nope. Keppinger out there to get it. He got a good jump on that ball.
I think that's the whole key to being able to catch that ball is the first drop step that you take. And it was a quick one by Keppinger. You drop step with that left foot and you just turn and run. And although you're running sideways, you're really creating speed going straight backwards towards the right fielder. And you have to have no fear there. That's one of those plays where you look at the ball and you run full blast and you get the arm extended right at the last second. You don't run with your glove out. You wait till the last second and you put the glove out.
Willie Bloomquist has been aboard twice in the game, has drawn a walk and singled, and this one will fall into right field. So Bloomquist on for the 3rd straight time, which of course brings the tying run to the plate.
It's a heck of a swing right here. A ball up and in and almost tomahawks it to get the ball out into right field.
I remember watching this young man when he played collegiately at Arizona State University.
Bloomquist. Really?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it amazing seeing the guys when they were at that age and now you see them at this age? Same thing for me with Stubbs and Sam LeCure on our ball club.
I remember here in Cincinnati on one of the great Midland teams that went to Farmington, New Mexico. I was a bat boy for when I was in, I think, 5th or 6th grade. Billy Doran was a starting second baseman on that team. Great major league player for so long out of Mount Healthy High School. Rich Dotson started an all-star game for the American League out of Anderson High School.
Wow.
He did not start a game in the Connie Mack World Series. They had 4 guys better than him.
Wow. Grew up quick.
Our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen in a 2-0 game. We'll be back. for the remainder of this season, and there are 4 games here left. Students can buy half-price tickets for select seating sections. Check it out at Reds.com/students.
Wilton Lopez, the right-hander, came sprinting out of the bullpen. And I don't mean jogging. I don't mean running. I'm talking about sprinting out of the bullpen. 66 appearance on the mound, 5-2 on the year with a 3.08 earned run average. He has posted a 1.57 earned run average in his last 29 appearances. He has stranded 30 of his inherited 31 runners this season. That is tops #1, numero uno in the big leagues.
Well, and by the way, guess who's coming up?
Somebody by the name of Bruce, yeah.
And the home run to win it in the 9th inning last night. And did not see a first pitch fastball in this at bat.
Doing the old changeup. You can't run in from the bullpen that fast and throw a changeup on the first pitch.
You're right.
Come on. Throw him the heater, Ricky.
Throw him another one. Fastball up and away, nowhere near the strike zone. It's 1-2 on Jay Bruce, who bats for Chris Valaken.
What if he had another one right here? Think he'd get loud?
Pretty good bat. Another changeup, and Bruce has gone on strikes. Seats at the lowest prices for another exciting year of Reds baseball. With a deposit of just $100, you'll guarantee huge savings, plus exclusive benefits and experiences available only to a Reds. And there are lots of packages available. But you can lock in opening day, the series against the Yankees, and weekend Cardinals series right now. Visit Reds.com/tickets for all the details.
Jordan Smith will be coming into the ballpark. Right-handed pitcher has posted a 1.93 earned run average in his last 7 appearances. 34 games, 3-2 on the year, a 3.46 earned run average. He will be pitching. Jay Bruce will be staying in right field.
Anderson Hernandez to pinch hit for Lopez. He did a nice job. Struck out the only batter he came in to face.
Faked us out. Came running in like he was going to throw it 100, and he threw it 80.
There will be a lot of questions asked, and we touched on it very early in the game. And every manager looks at things differently, and it's not a case where one guy's right and the other guy's wrong, or the one guy's wrong and the other guy's right. But after you have the big celebration and you clinch last night, and I guess everybody will put a different level of importance on being the number 2 seed in the playoffs as opposed to being anything less than that. I mean, you're in the playoffs. But I don't know if I've ever met anybody that's ever been affiliated with any sport, not just baseball, football, basketball, college sports, you name it, where you wouldn't prefer to play at home than you would on the road. Yeah, there have been some teams through the years that have had a better road record than home record, and they can give you the lip service about, well, we've played good on the road, but so we don't mind starting on the road. The Reds have clearly been better against the better teams at home than they have been away from home. So getting to the point when you run out the quote-unquote killer bees, not in part but entirely, with 5 regular season games to go, as that ball is hammered into right center field. Bruce, a long run, and will track it down.
Boy, he's good.
He's really good.
You don't catch that ball unless you get a great jump, and he did that. A high sinker, and that baby was ticketed for double or a triple, and Bruce goes all the way to the wall, makes the catch, and slams into the wall. Go ahead with what you were talking about.
I'm just saying, I mean, the bottom line is there are going to be people that are going to say, oh, wait a minute now. The Reds are talking about trying to get this number 2 seed in the playoffs. They're 1 game behind the Giants or the Padres if you look at the standings. As far as the best record is concerned, the Giants particularly we're talking about here because they're the division leader. But in essence, they're 2 games behind because of a tiebreaker, which the Reds would not win against the Giants.
Or the Padres.
Yeah. So you're in essence 2 behind with 5 to go, and the Giants and Padres play 3 games against one another on the weekends. I'm not suggesting that the team on the field tonight is incapable of winning a game.
Correct.
But no one can make the argument that running out your regular guys, or at least half your regular guys, gives you a better chance to win than none of your regular guys, right?
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
And again, it doesn't really maybe mean a whole lot to anybody, as it's on the ground down to third. Francisco, a good strong arm, fires a strike over to Yonder Alonso, 2 away in the inning.
The funny part about this lineup tonight is the club that's on the field played so well together for the most part. Most of these guys tonight played so well together in Louisville before they were actually brought up to the big leagues. But yet, that's not really, that thought process doesn't really make sense here because we're in the big leagues now.
Bruce will run this one down, and that'll do it in the 8th inning. We'll see if this team can rally. They're only behind 2-0. Talked about some of the regular players. Not some of them, all of them getting the night off here tonight. We're going to start seeing some of those guys get a chance to bat against the new Houston pitcher. We saw him last night, Fernando Abad. They got some good-looking pitchers in this bullpen.
Well, part of the trading that Ed Wade did when he lost Roy Oswalt and some of the other players that they had on this ball club during that time period, they're trying to fill spots with as many young arms as they could. Lance Berkman to the Yankees, Roy Oswalt.
Brandon Phillips to lead things off, batting for Alonso. Scott Rowland is standing in the on-deck circle. Quickly 0-2 on Brandon Phillips.
I was going to say, that's the first fastball we've seen out of a reliever yet. For the Astros, anyway. That ball looked like it hit him in the foot.
Sure did.
May have hit right between the 2 feet. Over the top. Yep. And the other one was out of the way. That's close.
Two and two to Brandon. Ball 3. Saw Abad in the game here last night. Retired the only batter that he faced, and that was Joey Votto. You may remember he struck him out in the 8th inning.
Got him on a changeup on a very unusual swing. It looked like Joey started to swing, stopped, and then started to try to foul it off at the end on a high changeup.
Look out, Brandon Tardy on a fastball and sends it right over the Reds dugout, and thankfully everybody's all right. Man. One hopper at Keppinger. 1 out.
Tell you what, I like this Abad kid.
I'm with you.
He has got 3 big league pitches, and they are all above average.
Now Scott Rowland batting for Juan Francisco, and it's in there a strike.
It's usually the other way around, huh? Francisco batting for Rowland.
Off the end of the bat, shallow center field, and Bourgeois able to run it down and easily. The first 2 set down to begin the Reds' 8th inning. Chris Heisey will bat.
Now this is where speed just comes into the equation without a doubt. Rowland hit it off the end of the bat. Most center fielders, except for maybe Drew Stubbs, Michael Bourne, their normal center fielder, and that guy, the second center fielder, Bourgeois. That's about 3 guys that can go get that ball. The rest of them, the ball falls. Ball looks like as soon as it goes up, it's going to drop, and Bourgeois just makes it look like a can of corn.
Chris Heisey, 2 hits in the game tonight. Breaking ball swung on and fouled back to the screen. It's 1-2. Heisey a single to left, a stolen base in the second, and an infield hit in the 4th inning, and then struck out swinging his last at bat in the 6th. Reds have left 8 men on base. On the ground, and this will do it. 1-2-3 go the Reds in the 8th. Houston bats in the 9th with a 2-0 lead.
Down the action with the most comprehensive highlights, exclusive interviews with the players, and Dusty Baker before anyone else. That's Reds Live, brought to you by Kings Honda in the Kings Auto Mall. Visit kingshonda.usa.
Catch all the action of Major League Baseball this postseason on both Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October the 6th with the Division Series, and every Division Series game will be on TBS.
Sam LeCure, the right-hander for the Reds, comes on. This will be his 14th ball game. He has posted a 1.69 earned run average in his last 6 appearances. You saw Rowland, you saw Phillips batting in the inning. They both stay in the ball game. And also over at first base, Joey Votto. So the Reds doing things a little backwards tonight.
And this young man has thrown the ball very, very well for the Reds this season, Sam LeCure. You know, you're walking around in that clubhouse last night in the celebration, and you see guys like LeCure, you see guys like Mike Leake. You know, Leake got off to the great start this year, and really haven't seen him virtually at all for the final 2 months of the season. They had an innings limit on where they wanted him to be and nothing beyond. So he's pretty much officially today just been shut down, period, for the remainder of the year. But you think about some of these guys and some big moments and the contributions they've made to this team.
Well, I'll say this for Sam LeCure. He has really opened some eyes, not only by his pitching when he was called up and pitching in the rotation, but how he's taken to the bullpen, and whether it's in the rotation or the bullpen, he provides a great swingman. Because there's no issue with him warming up. He doesn't have a problem with it. He did the same thing when he was at the University of Texas, and he's doing the same thing now.
And that is strike 3 called, a fastball in the outside corner.
Oh, and I forgot to say, he knows how to pitch. He knows how to change speeds, and he knows how to get the ball in the strike zone more times than not. And that's the kind of guy you want out there on the mound, especially as the game moves on.
Well, he strikes out Pence to start things. Here's Carlos Lee, a perfect 3 for 3 in a game. But not this time. Broken bat, one hopper to the glove side of Scotty Rowland. 2 are out. Well, you look in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Reds will have Nix, Yanish, Corky, Miller. And should they get any further than that, it would be Joey Votto. But of course, they have many, many, many options available for Dusty Baker on the bench.
I was talking with LeCure about pitching out of the bullpen. He said, Cowboy, the thing that is amazing is how much adrenaline you get when that phone rings. I said, son, that's why I pitched out of the bullpen and not out of the rotation. Once you get used to that kind of adrenaline, you get addicted quick.
2-0 on Chris Johnson.
Tell you what, I think the Astros have found themselves a third baseman in this kid. Really do.
He has played very well and swung the bat extremely well.
He's hit the ball well. His defense has been pretty good. I think with some work and repetition at that position, he'll be even better. And the thing about it, Tom, is he's a bigger kid. He's not little. He's broad in the shoulders. He's got a great base as far as legs and the middle of his body, and I think power is yet to come. So many guys come to the big leagues that are youngsters, and even when they have power numbers in the big leagues or in the minor leagues, they come to the big leagues thinking, all right, I just got to get a base hit here, or I just got to do this. So they don't really take their normal approach until they're hitting at 300 or 289 or whatever it may be.
Johnson, and here we come to the bottom of the 9th. Reds are down just 2. By PerformanceHondaStore.com will put a smile on your face. Every customer, every vehicle, every day. And by Cincinnati Children's in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties. In U.S. News and World Report's 2010 Best Children's Hospitals.
Brandon Lyon, the right-hander, comes on looking for his 20th save. His 18th save since August 1st are tops in the majors. He is not allowed to run in his 5 appearances against the Redlegs this year. That covers 4 1/3 innings. Hadn't allowed a run in 30 of his 33 appearances. And he is on right now to face the Reds. Looks like it'll be Nix, Cabrera, and
it's like Ramon Hernandez down there.
It does.
Two 2-0 on Nix. Now Lyon is one of those guys, and there are a number of closers like him around baseball. He has outstanding stuff, and when he's got everything working, the front, the fastball, the great curveball, and when he's locating, he is very tough to beat. But there will be games when Lyon will struggle and struggle mightily throwing strikes.
Patience is a virtue against this cat.
That ball was up around his neck. Would have been ball 3. Instead it's 2-2. Lyon's been around a while. He was hurt. Highly touted prospect at one time with Boston. Wound up getting a short time there before he was traded to Arizona. Wound up being their setup man, eventual closer. And has bounced around the last couple of years, but again has found a home in the closer's role. Now it's in Houston. He'll take the ball anytime you give it to him.
Yeah, and he knows how to pitch.
Yep.
But the key still remains, as you said, you got to get it over the plate.
Bouncing ball into center field, and that's the way it starts in the bottom of the ninth.
That's the best you could hope for right there, Tom, is to get that first batter aboard, a sinker, and you knew he had to come in. He starts it inside, runs it all the way back across the plate. And I think that right there should tell you that Nix is all right. He really had to reach for that ball and pull it back up the middle with some strength. And he ran down the first base line. They've got a pinch runner in for him now, and Drew Stubbs. And the Reds are in business.
Like to send out a big happy 95th birthday to Arthur Shoemate in Zanesville, Ohio. Watches every game, and he's getting geared up to watch the playoffs. And Stubbs will easily take second base.
Well, they did not even make a play there. That's kind of foolish. Takes away the force for sure.
Stolen base number 28 for Drew Stubbs. It's ball 1 on Orlando Cabrera. Reds trying to rally yet again in their final at bat. And it's 2-0.
Tom, I'll be honest with you. If I'm Brandon Lyon and I've got a runner at first base, I would much rather him stay right there. And once he gets at second base, it totally changes my outlook on the inning. I know I still have a 2-run lead, but it changes what I'm doing.
Ball 3.
There is a bigger sense of urgency with a runner standing right behind me than with a guy that's back over here at first base. How do you explain that? I can't explain it. It's just in your head and in your gut when you're standing on the mound. It's additional pressure that shouldn't be there.
3-0 on Orlando Cabrera, taking all the way undoubtedly here. And there's a strike. He might take another one. You've got Hernandez standing in the on-deck circle, and Joey Votto is due up 4th in the inning.
One thing we know, Cabrera is not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
All right, 3-1 on Orlando Cabrera. Stubbs out at second. Nobody out. Reds down 2 in the bottom of the 9th. And a bouncing ball. Back up through the middle. A pirouette by Sanchez. He makes a nice play to throw out Cabrera. Stubbs on to third, but there's 1 out. Ramon Hernandez bats for Corky Miller. Breaking ball is on the outside corner strike. They have a right-hander, Felipe Paulino, and Mark Melancon getting ready. A pair of right-handers loosening. Ramon behind 0-2.
I'm wondering if Sanchez would have been able to get to that ball had he not been holding the runner on there at second base. Sometimes it's good, sometimes.
Breaking ball away. 1-2 on Ramon Hernandez. Oh, look out down there. Runner at third, 1 out. 1-2 on Ramon Hernandez. And another foul ball. Votto waits in the on-deck circle. Reds would love to have Mr. Votto come up there representing the winning run.
Oh. It would get loud. Might have a quick walk-up if he comes up there with a runner. Quick walk-up sales.
1-2 to count now on Ramon Hernandez, and Lyon to the plate. And barely getting a piece, but a piece nonetheless. It was a tie game last night when the Reds won in their final at bat on the dramatic home run to clinch the divisional championship by Jay Bruce. They have the second most come from behind wins in the major league, second only to the Yankees do the Reds. And they're tied with Philadelphia for the second most wins in their final at bat, behind only Atlanta. 1-2 on Hernandez. Stubbs at third, 1 out. And this is playable. And the Reds are down to their final out. Stubbs stays at third base. And Votto coming up as a tying run.
Well, that kid Castro came out from behind that plate like somebody had lit his pants on fire. He was in a hurry.
He's a nice defensive catcher back there, what we've seen. Now, obviously, a batting average at 200 is not going to do it. I don't care what position you play, but this guy is a very good defender.
He really is, Tommy. He was a 2008 first-round pick. I think they rushed him a little bit because they really wanted a good defensive catcher to have in the big leagues. And you can see him here. As soon as he sees that ball come off the bat, he picks it up. The mask is out of the way, and he throws a jet down to first base. Every throw that he's made has been right on target. He's blocked balls. Defensively, everything is there. The big key now is to figure out the hitting part.
Which you wouldn't have been drafted as a first-round pick if they didn't
believe it. You're exactly right, Tom. Big at bat right here.
No doubt about that one. Here's Joey Votto. And a bouncing ball to the first baseman, and this is going to do it. So the Reds are shut out on 7 hits tonight. Boy, and that's a big blow to thinking about getting that #2 seed for the National League postseason. Because in essence, you're down to your final 4 games, and depending on what the Giants do later tonight, you're 2 behind them. So a final count of 2-0. Reds shut out for the 13th time this year. They leave 9 men on base. Tough luck loser Johnny Cueto slips to 12-7. Threw the ball well here tonight, though.
He really did, Tom. I thought Cueto showed exactly what he needed to show tonight. A better command of the strike zone, a better command of his emotions. He attacked the strike zone with all of his pitches, and the bullpen, the guys that came out of the pen, threw the ball very well.
So the finale, the rubber game of this series, is tomorrow night. We'll have it for you here on Fox Sports Ohio. We invite you to be with us. Game time again is 7 o'clock. Our game coverage. Tickets are available. And Reds Live will get underway.